have a really hot take that might make y'all really upset with me, but it has to be said. For the first time in Love Island history, all 4 finalists are Black women, and that is historical. Yet I'm seeing this discourse that's going around saying that it's interesting that all 4 Black women for the very first time in Love Island history are all paired up, partnered up, connected with men of other races rather than their own kind, so to speak, Black men. As a Black woman with a Black husband and Black children, I honestly don't understand why people are so mad at women, Black women that chooses to date outside of their race. If we just take a step back for a minute and let's talk about Anaya. Anaya had the opportunity to be with KC. Even when ish hit the fan and things weren't right, and in her gut of guts didn't feel like it was what it should have been, she was willing to give it a try. And I called it in one of my videos, I felt like it was blind loyalty, and maybe she wanted to have that Black love experience or wanted to stick to that, because as Black women, often, the Black community, we're often rooting for Black love. I root for Black love any chance I can get. However, I'm not gonna root for toxic Black love just because it's Black love. That doesn't make sense to me. So then Carl came in and I guess saved the day, so to speak, and she found a connection with Carl. Though her connection with Carl was strong and she felt this pull towards him, she still wanted to give it a try with KC. That didn't work out. She didn't get chosen by him, and by whatever production's way or the universe, Carl came back and they build a connection. Anaya has all the right to explore Carl and be in that connection. Not because she doesn't want a Black love story, but because unfortunately her Black love story didn't end the way that she wanted on Love Island. And Trinity said it from the jump. I didn't necessarily want to be with Bryce. I wasn't really feeling him. Kata had her eyes set on Zach from the minute she entered the villa. And that's fine. Though she is a Black woman, Black presenting woman, and she identifies with her Haitian side, she has every right to explore her other side if she chooses to, if that's where she finds her most happiest connection. Whether we see it as happy or not, if that's where she finds the most comfort, that's where she's gonna go. I honestly don't know. If it is an agenda, it breaks my heart that the agenda is to, purposely integrate, rather organically integrate. I would say more so the experience of Love Island is to go and date people that maybe outside in the street you wouldn't necessarily take a look at, you wouldn't necessarily want to be with, and maybe you go in there like Trinity thinking you know what you want, but it's something else. And it surprises you. But to say all 4 women got with others and that's like a crime, I don't think it's a crime. If you fall in love, my biggest takeaway in life, whoever you fall in love with, if they treat you right, they respect you, they honor you, and they are willing to do life with you through the ups, the downs, the twists and bends and everything, honestly, skin color, culture does not matter that much. I know this is going to sound so bad, because I know as a Black woman I should say Black love, Black love, Black love, but I never want to limit my children if they find someone that checks off all their boxes because they look different. That means they can't be with them. And maybe I'm wrong, and feel free to educate me in the comments. Drop your 2 cents on as to why you feel like this is an agenda. I just think it's wrong to make it seem like these women should not have found love in another race. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I like it. I just think I don't like that discourse.
It's so funny because every time I see Black women have this hot take about why interracial relationships are not that bad, or why Black women need to be open to expanding their options, it's always presented as if this is a new trend. But it's not. This has been going on for hundreds of years, oftentimes in secret, oftentimes behind closed doors, rarely openly acknowledged or given the same level of respect or notoriety as intraracial relationships. But, the fact remains that swirling has been going on literally since the beginning of this nation. But the problem with the conversation around interracial relationships, to me, it's not the interracial relationships themselves. It's the fact that desire is largely one-sided. That is the problem and the primary gripe that I have when it comes to swirling, divesting, and all of this interracial stuff. It's the fact that just Black women collectively make themselves look so ding-dang desperate when it comes to white men. That, to me, is what is so concerning, because I have yet to see a collective of white men go online and create different movements, to create different hashtags, create different think pieces, hell, create podcasts and create, magazine studies that are trying to encourage white men to get with Black women. I have yet to see the collective of white men do that. Maybe you can point to a random content creator here or there, right? But I don't see this collective movement of white men actively going out of their way to try to pursue Black women. If that was the case, then they would have done that by now. The marriage rates would have dramatically increased, since Loving versus Virginia, and it hasn't. So the problem around interracial relationships is that it seems largely one-sided. You have Black women who are very vocal about their disdain or being not treated white from Black men, very vocal about disrespecting Black men or just not being happy with Black men or Black love, and at the same time openly promoting white men, openly promoting swirling and divesting, down to having hashtags, down to having movements like the Black girl effect, the Black girlfriend effect, the Black wife effect, swirling and divesting, all of these terms, all of these movements that ultimately speak to Black women's desire to swirl and have the soft life. And it's largely one-sided. And to me, it's just, honestly, it's kind of pathetic. Me personally. And everybody knows this. This is why there are continually pushing shows that highlight Black women, ideally dark-skinned Black women with white men, because everybody knows this, down to the point to where there's a market. We know everybody knows, because society knows it. Society has seen this. This is why there continues to be sitcoms and shows and movies, right? And series that promote interracial relationships, because there's a market behind this, because the powers that be recognize this social dynamic. It may not be said explicitly, right? You're not necessarily going to see a think piece on CNN call this out, but people already know. It's like the open secret. And we have industries making money off of this social dynamic. So for me, that is what is disturbing about interracial relationships. It's not the interracial relationships themselves, it's the discourse around it, it's the social and political implications, and then it's the unwillingness, right? And then it's the way that these interracial relationships are oftentimes used to promote fantasies, one, and then to two, undermine Black community and Black men. I'm going to assume that this content creator is not familiar with swirling and more specifically divesting, which I have covered off previously, which ultimately ended up being a hate group. And by a hate group, I mean Black women who were essentially saying things that you would expect racist neo-Nazis to say, like literally pirating their talking points, down to celebrating when Black men were being unalived, down to calling them bullet bags, down to calling for the the deletion of Black boy babies, just saying things and doing things and promoting things that were openly and completely self-hating. So yeah, that kind of discourse, using swirling and divesting, promoting white men at the expense of Black men, and alluding to the fact that all Black men, they're not good husbands, they're not good this, they're not available, they're not socially whatever, and therefore get you to white men. Yeah, that's toxic. That is toxic. So like when there's people like me who call it out, it's not necessarily the interracial relationships themselves. It is the discourse around it. It's what's being promoted around it. It's what's happening. Is this even healthy and organic love? Or is this just is this a Black woman looking at a white man as a status symbol? Is this a Black woman who's trafficking in self-hatred? Because that's what's going on. And I would argue that, unfortunately, a lot of the discourse online around interracial relationships, it's not healthy, it's not good, it's not empowering, it's not uplifting. And if anything, it is continuing to sow fantasies in the brains of these young girls who already have their own ideas around anti-Black misandry, because yeah, we're not comfortable talking about anti-Black misandry in the Black community. Maybe they have their own daddy issues. Maybe they have their own self-hatred. They watch an episode or two of Love Island. They think a white man is their answer. They go on a blind date and they end up on the 10 o'clock news. Or they end up missing. Or they end up randomly committing, unaliving themselves. Like, we've seen these stories before. So again, I'm not trying to fearmonger. It's not to say that, you know, if a black woman gets in an interracial relationship, she's going to be, you know, randomly unalived, and then that she's going to end up missing or end up dismembered or end up being claimed or being falsely accused of unaliving herself. I'm not saying that that is automatically going to happen. But what I am saying is that the way in which interracial relationships is not scrutinized with the same level black love is scrutinized, that's not healthy. That's dangerous, and that's not setting up women for success. It's making black women look desperate, and it's especially making black women look desperate when you consider how low the interracial marriage rate is. You mean to tell me at a time when marriage collectively is declining, and the white population is declining, all of a sudden white men are going out of their way to wife up black women when they're barely doing that with their own women? It just doesn't make sense. So it's like, for me, it's like, if we can do so openly and honestly and acknowledge the implications, acknowledge what that means, acknowledge how imperfect that's going to be and how beautiful, yeah, it still can be in certain contexts, but let's not like paint it in rose-colored glasses. Like, if there's an open and honest conversation and honest discourse and respect, nothing wrong with that. But if it's just being used to traffic and self-hatred, to promote all these ideas and narratives, to sow fantasies into women, to make money, and to cause them to end up having a Swirler saga, that is nothing I'm going to support personally. But anyways, y'all, that's what I have about this whole thing. What do y'all think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye!